Hey there, I'm Brittany Schroeder, and business and marketing are my jam. I'm here to walk you step by step through this crazy thing we call business. I'm a small town girl, chocolate eating, Diet Coke drinking mom, marketing guru, automation Jedi, and all around good time. This is your weekly dose of all things business and life, sprinkled with some fun. This is the Redefined Business Podcast. Welcome to another episode of Redefined Business Podcast. I'm excited for my guest today because we have had a lot of people on my podcast who have written books, but there is a big piece of the puzzle that a lot of authors are missing, and that is the marketing and the strategy behind once the book's done. So I'm excited for my guest today. Welcome, Jessica Sorentino. She is a writer and brand strategist. Did I get it right? Writer and brand strategist.
Yes, thank you. Hi, so great to be here, Brittany. I'm so excited to chat.
Awesome. Well, tell my listeners just a little bit about you, how you got to where you're at now and what you do.
Absolutely. So I work with authors independently and in a larger community setting where I work with them on helping them bring their book into the world. So whether that is advising them on the publishing journey, but most importantly, it's building their brand, like what they're known for, what their readers and their community will associate them for, whether it's genre, types of characters, tropes, anything like that. Building a community around it, so their platform, and then of course the long-term book marketing. I started my career at Simon & Schuster. I've worked with Macmillan Publishers as well. So I've got some sort of like insider look on how books are made and how the cycle of books come to be. And at the end of the day, no one can really represent yourself and sell your passion the way that you can. So it's such a pleasure to help authors, own their art.
Yeah, I love that. So walk us through a little bit of the process, because there's lots of companies out there that help people write their books from start to end and get it published. Then there's that, and then there's that time where it's like, okay, we've written a book. I'm on the New York bestsellers list. But what are you seeing, like where there's like that, where people struggle once the book is written, and then what? Like, what are things that you see?
There is a lot of online chatter about the struggle in book promotion. Authors are defeated for the most part in the fact that it feels like writing the book wasn't enough, in air quotes, where now they have to embark on this second career or this second journey of promotion, of planning their own book tours, of publicity. These are things that many authors, for one reason or another, assumed that a publisher would help them do, or whoever is helping them publish their book, whether it's indie or traditional or hybrid. But at the end of the day, that falls on you. If you really do think about the amount of books that come out in a year, every single Tuesday, traditionally speaking, books are published. Publishers are big conglomerates of a business. They can't put a big author brand plan together for every single author. But, they'll get a lot of flack for putting it behind certain big named authors. You'll see people saying, well, Stephen King gets the marketing, but really the small guy gets the marketing. But that's because when it comes to marketing and publicity, it's a lot easier to sell idea when there's already a platform and an audience in place. So it's, important to me to help authors build that sort of like intentional readership already. That way, then they give the publisher something to work with. You will get better podcast appearances and responses booking a book tour and even engagement on your social media when your platform is already established versus waiting until you need it in order to do it.
Yeah. So do you see a lot of people who write books kind of do it backwards, where they are like, okay, I have the book, but I have no brand presence?
They'll say, I'll wait until my book is done, then I'll embark on brand and marketing, thinking they're the same, which it's a common misconception. A brand is who you are and who you are identified as and how people know you, all of those pieces. Marketing is a sell. Marketing is a campaign. There's a goal attached to it. There's a transactional component to it. And they don't go hand in hand. It's a lot easier to market when you have a brand. So I like to say it's like wrinkle cream, when they say, if you see wrinkles, you're too late to using wrinkle cream.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing, right? Like we need the brand way before we need the marketing. So
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And so when kind of touching on marketing a little bit, because I know that this is a struggle for a lot of people, of authors who've written books. What are you seeing? I mean, is there one that's better than the other? Is a book tour, like, what do people see the biggest return on investment in? Is it getting on podcasts? Is it doing book tours? What is the biggest ROI when it comes to marketing your book?
people sell books. Passionate readers sell books better than any social media post ever could. So book tours, podcast appearances, put your face out there, have a conversation. The amount of book talks I've gone to where people are like, I wasn't even planning on buying the book. I was just here to hear the conversation. Then you hear the author talk and you hear about this amazing process of building this world and bringing it to life and their creative journey. Then you're like, I need to read their book. I need to support them as a human being. So it is that human to human connection. It's getting in front of your readers and making it so your readers know your book and you well enough that they can then recommend it to another reader.
Yeah. So word of mouth. What's a book talk? For somebody who's never like launched a book, what is a book talk?
Okay, so a book talk is great question. A book talk is when you go to a bookstore or a library or any sort of location that has author appearances. They may be called book signings or author panels or anything else. But typically it's, an author with a moderator or sometimes by themselves where they'll just read a passage of their book. But typically they're in conversation with somebody else, traditionally with another author who is in their same genre. And they sort of talk about bringing the book to life. And it's very conversational. The audience can ask some questions. And of course, the book is available for purchase and signing at these events. So it's really great to build relationships with independent booksellers. Start with local, start with where you live, introduce yourself, get comfortable saying, hi, I'm an author. My book is out. My book is coming out. Ask them what they need in order to stock it. Ask them what they need in order to host you. And then, use that as sort of a North Star for what you need to accomplish.
Yeah, I love that. And I think we're seeing that like in lots of different businesses. We're seeing the trend where people are kind of moving offline back into like in person. And I don't know if it's because it's online is so oversaturated or it's too loud or whatever, or people miss that, in-person connection. But getting in front of people and building these relationships is really working, and you have to figure out what works for you too as well. Some people might have a huge online presence and that's fine.
It works,
but there is something to be said about that in-person connection and seeing the emotion and seeing the person in real life that makes them more human, I guess. So
1000%. And I think also in the publishing industry, specifically like the arts in general, there's a lot of mistrust right now with whether humans are creating the art or AI is supporting it and everything else. That I think what you're describing right now is also, I think that's also a result of the AI world that we're living in, is when you get to connect with the author or the creator and hear how they brought this to life and understand their journey and their presence, you're connecting to more than the words on the page. And that human, adding that level of humanity to it is a much easier sell than questioning whether or not this book with this gorgeous cover was made by an app or by an artist.
Yeah, that's such a good point, because I've been diving really deep into AI because it's really the thing right now. But I'm also seeing that there's all these little whispers of stay true to your brand. Don't let AI take over your personal brand. And I recognize, like, a lot of times I will read something or see something and I'll say, that's AI. That's absolutely AI. And, we talk about building a brand all the time, and it's the know, like, and trust factor. And we want people to believe that we are real. We are human. We're behind the screen. We're behind the book, whatever. And so I think that connection, I love that we brought this up, because I've been thinking a lot about it, because AI is really,
It's not going anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere, but you have to stay true to who you are. And I always say it's not a substitute for you. It's a tool to help you. Don't let it replace you. It's not a replacement.
I love that. And I like a piece of, I don't know who said it, but a piece of advice I got about AI that really resonated with me was it can only pull from what's already been done. So treat it like an assistant. If you're going to use it, give it tasks that you would give an assistant, give it tasks you would give an intern. So let it, like you're saying, let it support what you're already doing. But as far as innovation and creativity and thought leadership, it cannot replace you because
No.
it only can pull from what's already been done. So we want to champion the writers and the creators and the people who are innovating and creating and moving us forward as human beings. And, time is a real resource. And if there are ways that AI can support them and take some mundane tasks off their list, wonderful.
Yeah. Do you recommend that writers, okay, so say that I decide to write a book.
Mhm.
Do I start to like incorporate that into my brand that I'm a writer, even if I haven't written a book?
Yes.
When do you, I mean, that's like imposter syndrome a little bit going on, but like at what point in your business do you start to identify as, hey, I'm an author?
It's a great question because it's a struggle that a lot of the authors I work with have is stepping into the role of author. It's, writing is such a lonely, for the most part, career. You write in solitude, you write quietly, you write in the early morning hours, whatever it may be, but you're typically working by yourself for yourself. And when you then have to go public with it and call yourself an author and say that this is my art, I've had a lot of struggles with authors, like coming to terms with adding the word author into their bios or into their pitches and everything else. And so my recommendation is start with writer and start as soon as you put pen to paper, because the second you write a word on a piece of paper, you're a writer. And
I love that.
you are allowed to be a writer. You can be an author and still prefer to call yourself a writer. It's okay. Like, these are words that are somewhat interchangeable. Author typically just means something is published. But the more you can get comfortable with owning and stepping into this piece of your identity, the easier it will be to show up as that part of your identity in your brand.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I mean, everybody struggles with imposter syndrome, right?
Oh my gosh, for sure.
You just have to do it. Fake it till you make it, or whatever they say, but that's so true.
Exactly.
Well,
Yes.
I love that.
And I think the other component is too, if you are going to start a brand building journey, do not start it when your manuscript is really needing your attention, because the ball will drop, right? And then it's going to feel like a chore. And the second something feels like a chore, the second it becomes inauthentic. And when it becomes inauthentic, people can see it so much clearer than if you just didn't show up, period, So I always like to recommend, if that you're going to start a branding journey, start when your manuscript is sort of like coming to an end, or when it's in editing stage, or even if your book is already in the world and you want to breathe new life into it, that's a perfect opportunity. But don't make it harder for yourself by starting the branding journey when you're in the thick of writing, because something will drop.
Yeah.
And something will feel like a chore, and both pieces are too important for one to feel like a chore.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. I think a lot of business owners, we kind of do things backwards, right? We think we start doing it. We have an idea and we do it. And then we're like, oh, I wish I would have started this a long time ago. Or I wish I would have grown my email list. Or I wish I would have built a website or whatever. So, I mean, we're all learning all the time. So, well, Jessica, tell my listeners who are interested in being a writer or an author, how can they work with you?
So 2 ways. One, I do private one-on-one consulting, and I have a program called Turning Pages. And, I read the book, I get to know who the author is, and together we build a brand that connects them with the readers. And the biggest outcome of this one-on-one collaboration is opportunities. So it's setting you up for success for finding the right events, the right relationships, higher visibility. And it works whether or not you're trying to publish or you are published already. And then the second thing is open book, which is my Substack. And I write for free on Substack. I also interview authors who do have brands and platforms about how that has changed or influenced the trajectory of their creative career. Again, that stays free for all. But there are authors who want to go deeper. And for that, I have a membership, same name, Open Book. And that is something where we work together weekly. And it's for authors who are all interested in building their brands together with a room of accountability, support, collaboration, and all of the fun stuff.
I love it. And I'll put all those links and all the information in the show notes so people can find you for sure and on my website. So,
Thank
all right,
you.
Jessica, I like to end all my podcasts with asking my guests 2 questions. So the first one is, what is a pet peeve?
A pet peeve in general is when people are selfish on their platforms. It's both personal and professional for me. And I strongly can't stand this. When every sentence starts with I, and when there is no relationship to their platform, when it is a soapbox and you look at something and you're like, there's no chance that even if I celebrate this person or try to connect with them from a community standpoint, they're never going to see it. They're never going to care. That really bothers me. And I don't know if it's because this is my career that I help people build connections for their work. But the soapbox platforms is a huge pet peeve of mine.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one. That is a good one. Okay. What is a simple pleasure?
My mornings. I wake up every single day, 30 to 60 minutes before I need to do anything. And I will pour my coffee. I will literally get back in bed with a book or with my notebook, or honestly, even a TV show. It doesn't even matter. But the intention there is that I'm not rushing. I'm not getting dressed. I'm not moving too aggressively. The goal there is, you spend time with yourself and let your brain do the work it needs to do prior to letting the day attack you. And it is my favorite part of my day.
I love that. That is lots of people's simple pleasure. That is a common one for sure.
I think we're just so stimulated during the day. We need some alone time,
Yes, we do. And I think that's a great way to start it off, just to calm before the storm and just get regroup. Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you, Jessica, so much. This was so good. I know my listeners are going to really benefit from this. And I know I have a lot of listeners and a lot of clients, and know a lot of people who have written books, and then it's then what? So even though they, hopefully they can have a little bit of a start, but I hope that they can connect with you and, get some helpful tips and really help their books go big. So thank you so much, Jessica.
I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.
Let's not stop the party here. Head on over to my Instagram or Facebook group, Redefine Your Business, and let me know your thoughts about today's show. I will see you again, same time, same place, next week.